everyone, welcome to Chaudhary Dataverse channel. Today I am here with three new functionalities into Pyspark data frame. Those are adding a row to the data frame, then deleting from data frame, and then updating any existing row into the data frame. All these three functionalities are very common when dealing up with the operations of transforming a data frame. So we'll be watching in detail how to perform this into this particular video. So let's get started with the video. First and foremost in front of us we can see is adding a row into a data frame. So there is basically a dot union method which basically joins a row separated into some particular data frame and another rows into other data frame. It when when union from each other, it just gives the updated one with having the new row into it. So let's see how it's getting done. First two line, it's nothing but we are importing the necessary libraries and the modules in the PySpark. So those are from .sql we are importing a Spark session and then row. Creating the Spark session here. After that, in this particular chunk of code, I am creating a data frame. In that data frame, we'll be appending a new row. So this is the old data frame with having less row, and the new row we will be creating into this particular line. So first take this. So here you can see we have taken up the data, two data into this with having create data frame, spark dot create data frame, and the data we are passing over it, whatever data we have taken. After that, the column name with respect to both of these two data. As soon as it's getting created, it is getting stored in df. Now we will show df dot with df dot show. The step 2 comes that that we are going to create a new row now, which row we will append that into this particular data frame. The new row, it is into the variable new underscore row with having row object into it. So row function, it is getting called from by spark.sql. This row function expects two parameters right now. First one, the name, column name with having the value as Charlie, and the column is with having value of 35, correct? So this new underscore row equals to row name Charlie and is 35. This will create a new data frame, basically it with having new underscore row as its name. Now this particular new row will be added to df, which is pre-existing with us. For that we are having again spark.create data frame, in which what we will do is we will just convert the new actually this new row, when it is getting called with the row object, it will be into the RDD format. So as soon as we pass that into spark.create data frame with having in through the list format and the schema as df.schema, either we can pass the schema whatever we want, or else since both the data frame is having same schema, we are taking up the schema from this df. This df is having schema, so we can call it by df.schema. Now updated data frame, now it's turn to join both of the data frames, that means the pre-existing one and the new one which we created right now. So both of them can be union with having df dot union. That means whatever data frame in which we want to concatenate that row, so that will be taken here as the parent. Now on top of which dot union method will be applied. This dot union is only responsible to add the row into the existing data frame with having parameter as new data frame. So as we can see that updated the underscore df dot show will show the new data frame. So you can see first data frame, whatever it was pre-existing, that means whatever it was already there, it is df.show is showing Alice and Bob, right? And when we are adding the data, that is Charlie, it is getting added up at the last. So this is how the data frame looks when it is updated by getting added with one new record. So this is how you can add a new row to an existing data frame. Now it's turn to delete some particular row from a data frame. So actually I have already covered up this particular functionality, but to synchronize with this video, that means it should be a whole package in which you will be learning how to add, delete and update. I'm covering up this particular one again. So this delete is nothing but when you filter out some data, uh, uh, there are some, suppose 10 records into a particular data frame. If we filter out 8 records from them, of course it is obviously it's self understood that 2 records from that particular data frame has been removed. That only thing we want to achieve here. For that, what we are doing, we are just importing the necessary libraries. After that, creating the Pyspark. It's Spark session we are creating. After that, creating the data frame in which we are having again the data Alice, Bob and Charlie. Df spark.create data frame, which will create our data frame with having data as the parameter and the column name as the parameter. To parameter we have passed df.show. It showed you this particular data frame. Now it's time to drop that row which is not needed. So suppose if we want to drop row with having name as Bob. For that, what we will do, df.filter, nothing to do, df.name not equals to Bob. So what it is telling, that provide all the names with except this Bob, since it's not equal to, right? So it will give you all the records which having not name not as Bob. So it is Alice and Charlie here, which is given into the second data frame, which of course mean that Bob is getting dropped from the resulting data frame. So this is how we can drop a record from a data frame. The third option which we are having to into our list today is how to update a particular record in a data frame. For that, nothing but we will just import the necessary libraries with pyspark.sql, that is Spark session, whole, and then when. We'll create the Spark session, create the data frame. Now we will update it. So update is something which will be applied on df, that means the data frame which we created. With column, on which column we need to just execute the operation. So that column here we can see that is column. So it is telling now that when column name equals to Bob, replace the age with 40. Whatever the age it is pre-existing, replace that age with 40. And if the Bob is not there into the name column, you can put it same as the column age. That means we have already covered up when and otherwise. So when column name equals to Bob, replace it with 40. Otherwise, keep it as it is, that is column age. When it is shown, you can see that this Alice is 25, Bob is 30, Charlie is 35. And it was the pre-existing data frame. And when it is updated, Bob is getting 40 here. Apart from that, Alice is 25, Charlie is 35. Correct. So this is how this particular row or the record from the data frame got updated. So in this particular video, we have all covered how to add a row into data frame, delete from that particular data frame, and then update whatever row we are already having a new record. That means whatever record we are having, just if we want to update it, we already saw into this video. So hope this video you found it helpful. If you found it helpful, kindly like to the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much guys for watching the videos. Stay tuned to the channel for upcoming videos.